What's up, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears TV, and we're back in the garage today working on the FXR Evolution Rideaway bike. So if you guys aren't hip to this yet, folks over at Dennis Kirk Garage Build have teamed up with us to do this project. Kind of, we're building the bike, you're building the bike thing, and when it's all done, they're giving it away. One of you guys over at Garage Build is going to walk away with this motorcycle after we've had the fun of building it. So tonight we're actually going to be working on the other side cover. You've already seen the videos at this point of us making the 3D model out of the EVA foam. Here's our EVA foam. If you missed this, you want to go back on our YouTube channel and check it out. We're going to move right into cutting some steel and making a side panel. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is transfer our three-dimensional model to our paper template. So I have a piece of poster board. No big secrets here, you know. About 1 1/8 inches. So I need to come past my template 1 1/8 inches. The places where I have severe angles here on the top, I know these are going to be places where I'm going to want to make a cut line. I'll make a slice at these points so that as I'm bending those panels over, it has room to relief. So now the challenge is to come up with a way to have a tracing device that's 1 1/8 inches away from the material. Sometimes it's as simple as having a pen taped to another pen, sometimes more than that. So okay, so it looks like 2 Sharpies is the trick.
Proper templating is something I can't stress enough here. The better your template, the better you transfer your template, the better your overall end product is going to be. No matter how it is that you have to get the most accurate template, do that work and you'll see the results in the end.
I just cut out this template that we're using to make side covers for an FXR.
Over on the bandsaw, I'm making my last few adjustments and cut lines.
Okay, so this is kind of uncharted territory because normally I would take this over to the belt sander now and like really, you know, clean up all the different areas, and there's not a whole bunch. I mean, a couple little pieces that I can address real quick with the flapper wheel. So from this point, I'm going to get some gloves. We're going to take this over to the T-dolly and start making our bends. Okay, so for this next step, we're going to be using slap hammers and T-dollies. T-dollies, I believe these might have came from Eastwood as well once upon a time. Different sizes, you know, you'll see we're actually going to start with the smaller T-dolly, and that's going to give us a tighter bend at first. I'm going to move up to these bigger sizes so I can smooth that bend out. Once I've established where it's at, I can start to shape how I want it to be. I'm going to use a slap hammer. These are just a block of wood with a strip of leather over it. And what this does, like if you go right away to using a metal hammer or even some of the body hammers, it starts to put indentations into the metal. So by using this slap hammer, especially on something like a T-dolly, it cushions the amount of blows. Like there's not dimpling in the face of the steel while you're doing some of this work. You want to eye out where your T-dolly is.
In spite of this video going very fast, take your time.
If you have good light, you can follow the crease line in the light. If you don't, hang something up so you do. Good light is good work.
As you start to fold the metal over with the slap hammer, you'll see the panel taking shape. Take your time, a little bit at a time, and keep moving around the outside perimeter.
So on this one, we're actually going to have to start with the middle and then work out to the ends. this point I'm not looking for a perfect fit yet, but I am starting to scope out like what some of my problems are going to be. Obviously I can see right off the bat this is way too long, so I'm just gonna go over the grinder and get rid of that. My curve right here not nearly enough, so I'm gonna take one of the round hammers to address that.
I wanted to put this footage in to show you that it actually takes a number of times of going back and forth to the different tools and fitting the part on the bike to get a good result, a good fitment for the part that you're trying to make. Of course, the magic of television makes this all look a lot easier than it is, but don't get frustrated.
I'm going to start out by making some inside dimensions of this in about 3 concentric circles of areas that I want to shape. And again, someone else might have a better method for doing this.
Here I start at the deepest point of my shape. From that point I move out to the second ring with a considerably lighter blow, and finally I'll move out to the third ring, lighter still, constantly checking the shape of the outside perimeter of the part I'm making. By the end I may change hammers several times, even moving to a rounded hammer to start to smooth out the surface.
So now you can see why I didn't worry too much about the fit a little while ago. Now that we got our body on this out here, I'm gonna go to work at smoothing it back out and hopefully push some of this back, as I went a little too much.
The planishing hammer is a pneumatic tool that delivers thousands of blows a minute to the surface of the material. It uses a series of different size and shape dies on the bottom to achieve different shapes in the metal. It is, without a doubt, the most important tool in metal shaping like this.
Now that I got my initial work on the planishing hammer done, and I got this to the shape that I want, you can see that my my material has come in. I moved up to the larger diameter T-dolly, and I'm going to start working these edges back.
Remember, every time you do one step, you may have to go back and rework another area of the project.
Fitment I'd like to see better with this, so I'm actually going to go to a higher dolly. Like right here, this seems like it bows in a little bit. I'm going to bring this higher dolly in here and try to affect that a little bit, see if I can bring it back out.
This video might make it look like this is an exact science, but only for the very few accomplished. There's a lot of trial and error. Don't get discouraged.
Okay, so at this point you can see I've covered this with a quick coat of black primer, flat black primer, just so I could see a little bit more about what my shapes are. I'm happy with the shape of this. I'm now going to take it and sandblast the areas that I need to weld, you know, my couple relief cuts in my corners, and then we're going to go to putting the hardware on this, and we're almost done. Okay, so a couple welds later, and we have a whole piece again. Going to clean those up, and then probably sand this whole thing, paint it. We'll get our hole drilled here for the foot peg perch, and that'll help hold it on while we find our 2 mounting hardwares. I just realized that this whole time I forgot to reference our funky little model here. So the whole time I'm doing this, I've been using that model to make sure what my dimensions are on this outside edge. So here we are at the end. The last couple steps went kind of fast, so I'm just going to tell you guys about it. These little steel spacers that you can get at your local hardware store, they come in various lengths. I actually took these and through a series of measuring the space that I had behind the cover, between the cover and the well nuts where they mount. I made these spacers the exact length for the cover, welded them on the back of the cover. This is pretty much, at this point, I'm going to send it off to the body shop. So This is my finished product at this point. I have the little dimples for the hardware. While these are out, I'll get the real hardware, and that completes FXR side covers. You know, from here you could do anything. Like if you were a bead roll guy, you could bead roll. You could put some molding in here and do some Frenching. Like you could do whatever you want. If you wanted to louver cut them or whatever. But really, at the end of the day, about 2 hours aside to do these. Thanks for coming along with us. Get out to Dennis Kirk's garagebuild.com today and check out the FXR Evolution. You can walk away with this bike when we're done. This is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. We'll see you next time.